Today we'll be continuing the early portion of season number 5 here in the San Francisco Giants franchise here on MLB the Show 24. Last episode we kicked off our season with the International Series, and in Game 1, Tommy Rogers walked it off with a grand slam in the bottom of the 9th inning to propel us to the win. We sit at 4-2 after splitting the 2 games against San Diego in Japan, and then taking 3 of 4 in our first home series against Arizona. Before we get started though, last episode is normally where I would have shown these subscriber-made international free agents, but I had to push them back to today. So here's a look at this year's international free agency class. And if you want a full look at how much each player's costed for each team and what the wheel ended up spinning them, as always, there is a link to that in the description with the information of each offseason and how all of the international free agents have signed through the first 4 seasons. Of course, for those of you who are unfamiliar with how the international free agents work within this series, each team gets 15 international free agency points over a 5-season span, and they have to use those 15 points accordingly. Once they sign a player worth a certain amount of points, we will spin the wheel, and that determines how good they actually are, to add a sense of randomness, because international free agents through the MLB, they take a long time to develop, and it's really hard to predict how good they end up being. If you look at lists of international free agents and where they were ranked from when they signed, a lot of the names at the top you're not going to recognize because they were signed very young and ultimately kind of flamed out in the minor leagues. There were some notable highlights here. The Tigers spent 5 points on a catcher, and the wheel made him the worst possible player that he could have been. They made him a tier 1 player, so the Tigers spent 5 international free agency points on somebody who really was worth 1. The Dodgers got a really good player. They've been saving up their points, so that kind of sucks for us. They end up getting even better with a talented second baseman from South Korea. A lot of really good infielders. Cleveland got a good one here from Indonesia. The Yankees got an awesome third baseman from Germany, Wilhelm von Kaisenberg. The Marlins got a good shortstop with Francesco Calderon. The Athletics got themselves a really nice shortstop with Lucas Munoz, who has a potential. Although the biggest winner at this year's international free agency class was actually the Chicago White Sox. They were the only team who landed a generational talent, and those usually only come up every so often. I think other than Munetaka Murakami and Roki Sasaki, we've only had 2 generational guys. But now we have the third, Mauricio Fuentes, a switch-hitting outfielder from Venezuela, 78 overall, 97 potential. The first 2 generational guys were both pitchers. Now we have the position player joining a talented young core with the White Sox, who could use another piece, as their young core hasn't done a lot of winning yet over the last few years. So here's our final group of players for the rest of the teams, but there's still one more team we have to go over, and that's us. Since we used a lot of our points on Munetaka Murakami back in Season 2, we only had 3 international free agency points left, and we used 2 of them on third baseman Leonardo Alfaro from Mexico. We ended up spinning the wheel. He ended up being worth 2 points, so we're getting what we paid for, a 65 overall with C potential, but I like his skill set. I think he's got some upside. So we're 4-2. The Braves have not been so good, but our other main competitors, the Dodgers and the Padres, have been. Obviously, we can't really determine how good guys are playing through 6 games, but Ian Happ's playing well. Munetaka Murakami's playing well. Mason Miller, of course, had a complete game shutout with his first start of the year. And we'll get our first look at Carson Whisenhunt, who won the 5th spot in the rotation in spring training. The bullpen's doing well, too. That's good to see. And we're going to simulate these next couple of weeks, bringing us to the series against the Pirates. So we'll be playing the Cubs, who are off to a slow start, 0-4. Remember, they stole our manager in the offseason. Then we get Arizona. Cincinnati, a rematch of the NLDS from last year, followed by the San Diego Padres on the road. So we ended up sweeping the series against the Cubs. I don't know what the deal with them is, but they're just not playing well at all. Maybe they shouldn't have taken our manager. And that brings us to this first game here against Arizona. We're down 4-2. Bases are loaded for Leody Taveras. Swings at the first pitch. Taveras, of course, the big free agent signing from the Rangers, hasn't been all that impressive offensively so far as he flies out to right. Chad Gordon gets out of the inning, and that ultimately ends up being the difference as the Diamondbacks win this game by the final score of 4-2. maybe the bases loaded curse is back. I feel like it started to go away a little bit with some big hits last year. The walk-off grand slam in Game 1 this season by Tommy Rogers. So hopefully this is not a sign of things to come, and we continue to be clutch with runners on base, which seems to be a rarity for my teams. Let's look at Carson Whisenhunt. He's got a shutout going here in Game 3. We ended up losing Game 2, so we currently trail this series 2-0, looking to avoid the sweep as Drew Jones gets it to short. Going to be a close play. Throw to first is not in time. Carson Whisenhunt, by the way, in his first start of the season against the Cubs, threw 6 1/3 scoreless innings. So he has not let up a run all year, but that streak is in danger of ending. He lets up another hit now to Taylor Walls. A 15-plus inning scoreless streak to open up his season is on the line with Ketel Marte. And this one is flown into center. I think it will be caught, but the runner at second should be able to tag up to third. And the throw is offline. Arizona now with runners on the corners. Tying run at first. Winning run at the plate. And this is where they're going to yank Carson Whisenhunt. I would have thought it would have been done after the last hit by Walls, but they keep him in for one more at bat. 8 1/3 scoreless innings officially for Whisenhunt. 15 2/3 scoreless innings so far. And we're hoping that he does not allow any earned runs and that Camilo Doval is able to shut the door and complete the shutout. Unfortunately, they took us out of the game, and while Doval did not complete the shutout, he let an RBI double to Corbin Carroll. We still ended up winning by the final score of 2-1, avoiding the sweep. Carson Whisenhunt 2-0 this season. Technically, he lets up his first earned run of the year, but he has been absolutely terrific so far, and it's great to see him really producing, especially in a game where we didn't get much offensive production. John Lee with a 2-run homer in the 6th. That was the only run support for us the entire game. Now into this game against the Reds. 3-2, bottom 8, 2 away. We're bringing in Blake Sabol off the bench. We won the first game of the series 6-2. We're hoping to take another win against Cincinnati, but Sabol goes down looking, and the Reds get out of the inning. That pitch was a little bit high, a little bit to the inside, but I think it was a strike, and ultimately he doesn't swing. Let's go to the bottom of the 9th now. Bob Mayo is in for the save, replacing Alexis Diaz, who left in free agency. Johnny Hackman reaches base, so we're off to a good start. J.P. Crawford dominated the Reds in the NLDS last year, looking to do so again here in the regular season, but he flies this one up over to short, and it is caught for the first out of the inning. Runner retreats back to first. That's Maui Ahuna, the former Giants prospect who the Reds drafted in the Rule 5 draft this year, making the play. Brendan Donovan now on the ground, down the line, base hit. Donovan's not gotten off to a good start this year, so it's really encouraging to see him making a nice play, but the runner Hackman is out at third. He wanted to be aggressive, and it backfires. Alex Verdugo guns him down, and this game comes down to Tommy Rogers, already with a walk-off homer this year. He's looking for another, but he finds himself behind 0-2. And given where we are in this game, down to the final strike, we've got to be extra aggressive, even if it's a pitch that Tommy doesn't really like, and that's exactly what happens. On the inside edge of the strike zone, it wasn't a great pitch to hit, but it was close enough to the strike zone to where we had to swing. The fly ball is caught at first base by the Reds, Christian Encarnacion Strand, and they take this game 3-2, splitting the series, leading us to the rubber match. 2 runs, 9 hits. Rogers had 3 of them, so even though he had the last out, he had a really good game overall. That brings us into Game 3. Not many theatrics here, at least in terms of the result. We're up 9-3. Munetaka Murakami is 4 for 4 with 2 home runs. And yeah, he got a little aggressive, a little trigger happy there, 0-2, swinging at the high fastball. But the Giants still win by the same score. And we've got to talk about Munetaka Murakami because so far he is balling. Through the first couple of weeks of the year, he's been one of the best hitters in Major League Baseball, and it's refreshing to see because if you remember last year, he started off really slow, and it carried into the months throughout the year. His average was lower than 200 until the All-Star break, so the fact that he's starting off well is a very good sign. We ended up winning the series against the Padres, so we did pretty well in this stretch, going 8-4. In Carson Whisenhunt's third start of the year, 6 1/3 scoreless. So through 3 starts and 21 innings, he's let up 1 run. And technically, he didn't even let that run in himself. He is on another level so far. The advanced metrics all back it up. And overall, the team's producing. We are high on the list in terms of runs scored and runs allowed, but we're not in first in the division. Right now, the Dodgers have the slight edge, but we are tied with San Diego for the number 1 wild card. So unsurprisingly, it looks like it'll be very competitive with us, the Padres, and the Dodgers within this division. Anyways, let's take a look at this series here against the Pirates. I think I'm going to play the second game, so we'll simulate this first matchup, Logan Webb versus Paul Skeens, but it's actually a high-scoring game. Tied at 6, top 9, 2 on, 2 away. Murakami into the gap! Continues his excellent season as it rolls to the wall. Rogers scores. That one will put the Giants ahead. The second run will score as well. It's 8-6. A 2-run double for Munetaka Murakami, already his 10th of the year. And the Pirates are going to go back to the bullpen. Dari Moreta comes into the game for Pittsburgh, hoping that they will not add to this Giants lead, but it is one of the best clutch hitters on the roster, Blake Sabol. He lines this one into center, and it will be caught. Good inning, though. Munetaka Murakami brings home a pair. 8-6 going into the bottom of the 9th. We'll see if Camilo Duvall can slam the door with the 7, 8, 9 hitters as he lets up an RBI triple to Ji Hwan Bae. Well-known woman respecter, Ji Hwan Bae, that is. So now the speedster's 90 away from home. Jared Triolio, the potential winning run, lines out to first. Stone Garrett makes the play, and San Francisco hangs on. An exciting 8-7 victory here in the first one of 3 at PNC Park. The double by Munetaka Murakami in the top half of the frame ends up being the difference to lead us to the win. It got away from Duvall a little bit there. Camilo Duvall's been a little bit up and down so far this year. I'm not worried about him yet because obviously his body of work is terrific, but it is a contract year for him. We gave him a big extension earlier in the series, but that deal expires at the end of this season. Nonetheless, we are now 13-6. We've won a few games in a row, bringing us to this matchup with Sandy Alcantara on the bump against Mitch Keller. Definitely want to get multiple looks at Alcantara this year because we only signed him technically to a 1-year deal. It was a mutual option for year 2, so either us or him can opt out of that. And that's not to mention that Logan Webb is also a free agent at the end of the year, so him, Alcantara, and Duvall are all not under contract next year, and that's just a few of the many guys whose deals are up within the next year or two, but that's not the point. Let's focus on the here and now as we face off against Mitch Keller, who's off to a rough start this year. 7.63 ERA, 1.76 whip. Just has not been good through his first 3 starts. He's hoping to rebound today as he gets Tommy Rogers on the slurve. That pitch had some nasty movement. Overall, I feel somewhat good about how Rogers has played this year. He's definitely been a net positive. Hasn't necessarily taken a leap into stardom like I had hoped, but he's been a good player, as Ian Happ has been a superstar this year. Sends it into the gap, sliding into second for a double. Happ is hitting close to like 380 this year. He has been on another level. Jun-Hoo Lee as well. His average is right around the same ballpark. And then Munetaka Murakami has been ridiculous. The contact combined with the power, but he flies out to left. It is going to be caught to end the inning as the Pirates get out of it. Christian Pache is the one who makes the play as that brings us to the bottom of the first, where we will take a look at Sandy Alcantara, acquired last year at the deadline. Had the rocky postseason, we decided to re-sign him to the short-term deal, and through 4 starts, he's been pretty adequate. He had a pretty good performance earlier against his former team, the Reds, who we got him from, as he will start things off with Jared Triolio. He was the final out in the first game of this series, and he's the first hit here in the second one. It ropes down the line. Could have been an extra base hit, but because the wall blocked it and bounced directly into Rogers' glove, it's only a single. And because of that, sets up a force out at second base, and that leads to a double play. 6-4-3, good work by the defense to turn 2. Alex Kirilloff now swings at a pitch he absolutely should not have. Crawford charges, throw to first is in time, and the Giants get through it as we go into the second. Blake Sabol with a liner into right center field. It's got some carry. At the wall, it goes off the wall. He will make his way over to second. It's a 1-out double, and the Giants have a runner in scoring position. We'll see if they can bring him home, his second double of the year. J.P. Crawford's up, full count, draws a walk. San Francisco supplying base runners. We'll see if the bottom of the order can try to bring these guys in. Leody Taveras on the ground, up the middle. What a play by Johnson. Gets the 1 out, it's short, and only the 1 out. Good hustle by the speedster Leody Taveras to keep the inning alive, but even more so, what an impressive play at second base by the former top 5 pick, Termarr Johnson. 2 on, 2 away. Hackman bloops it into left, and that is going to drop for a hit. Run scores, it's 1-0. That was a very weakly hit ball. I think 66 exit velo. But hey, it drops. All hits are somewhat created equally. Tommy Rogers now hits this one high and deep and a right. At the track, it is caught. I've been impressed with Tommy's power so far. He's doing a good job hitting home runs, hitting extra bases, although that's never really been his weakness to begin with. But he's doing a good job of that this year. As Nelson Velasquez starts the bottom of the second with a bloop hit of his own, gets by Taveras over to Hackman, and the runner's going to go for second, and he's out of there! Johnny Hackman with the throw and right. Part-time ball player, full-time sniper. It's almost as if we had Taveras not get the ball to bait the runner into going. I'm going to act like I did that entirely on purpose, and it wasn't accidental. We're going to take the credit for that. Henry Davis, the former number 1 pick out of Louisville, with a single into right, and this time they will actually get the base runner off of it. As Zach Veen crushes it into left, and it is foul! 3.2 feet away from the pole. That was a close call. Following pitch for Veen, he rips it into center for a base knock. And the runner will look to head for third. It's going to be close. He is safe despite a bullet by Leody Taveras. The Pirates have 4 hits within their first 6 at-bats. It's just that the Giants' defense has done such a good job getting these guys out. Looking at turn 2. They do not. Andy Rodriguez is safe. And because of that, Henry Davis scores. The hustle leads to Pittsburgh scoring a run. We're tied at 1. Nonetheless, though, the Giants' defense, which has been an issue over the years, has been really good in this game, despite the fact that Sandy Alcantara hasn't been all that impressive. Darrell Hernaiz flies it into center, caught by Taveras. So a busy second inning. Both teams, with good base running, are able to get some runs across with hustles off of near double plays. Into the third, Ian Happ gets us started up the middle, base hit. He is 2 for 2 today, continuing his terrific start to the year. Now remember, Ian Happ was also on a heater at the beginning of last year, although he never really cooled off. He was terrific throughout the entire season. So hopefully that continues again this year. Munetaka Murakami on a heater himself this year, certainly unlike last season, as he gets his first hit of the ball game, a single into center. 2 on, 1 away, nice chance to regain the lead. We'll see if the middle of the order can come up big. It's Blake Sabol. Count is even, 2-2, 2 away, 2 outs. And this one is hit high and deep. Into right center field, it's got some carry. At the track, at the wall, it is caught by Nelson Velasquez. And Pittsburgh gets out of the frame as Keller leaves 2 stranded. Good job to get out of the jam. He's a lot of base runners himself. Both teams are getting guys on. They're just not scoring them. The Giants are leaving runners on base, and the Pirates are getting their guys out on base during the inning. As Termarr Johnson strikes out, we needed that type of inning from Sandy Alcantara. 1-2-3 retires to the side. As that brings us into the 4th, Leody Taveras goes down on the slurve. Haven't really gotten the offensive production we were looking for from Taveras here in the early going of the season. Johnny Hackman's also been a little inconsistent, but he's off to a good start today. 2 for 2. Hits that one a little bit harder than his first one in the left field for a single. So that'll bring you up Tommy Rogers. So far 0 for 2. As this one is hit well into left center field, it's got some carry. At the track, at the wall, it is caught by Velasquez. And Keller gets out of another jam. Again, we continue to leave runners on. And we're hitting the ball well here late in innings. They're just not dropping. Davis pops it up into foul territory, and it is caught by Garrett. Back-to-back perfect innings for Sandy Alcantara. A complete far cry from the first 2 innings to now. It's like he's flipped a switch. As Jun-Hoo Lee gets us started here in the 5th. Left center field, that one will go for a double. And Jun-Hoo Lee having another Jun-Hoo Lee-esque season. Average is close to 380. We'll move over to third, and with 1 away, it's Munetaka Murakami as he puts this one on the ground, a chopper. Play is made at first, but Jun-Hoo Lee will score, so it is a successful at-bat, making it 2-1. Bottom 5, Zach Veen rips it up the middle, 106 off the bat. And the Pirates get their first base runner since all the way back in the 2nd inning. We'll see if they're able to capitalize, look to tie the game, or take the lead as Andy Rodriguez goes down on the fastball. One away for Darell Hernaiz. Runner goes for second. He is safe. Pretty close call there, but a good play there by Zach Veen to put himself in scoring position. Count is full now for Hernaiz with the force out gone. Sandy can paint around the corners a little bit more as this one is hit into right for a base hit. Runner looks to score. Hackman's already thrown one runner out today. He won't get Veen. He is safe. It's an RBI single for Darell Hernaiz. We're tied at 2. Christian Pache goes down on the four-seam fastball. Good strikeout by Alcantara, just his third of the game. And that'll bring up Jared Triolo with a liner over to second. Happ makes the play. Throw to first is in time, and I think that'll do it for Sandy. He was really mediocre today. He wasn't bad. He wasn't good. He was pretty average. Mitch Keller is also done. He'll be replaced by Bubba Chandler, the former high school two-way player who has converted to a full-time pitcher, as J.P. Crawford ignites this one into right field. And that one, no doubt about it, it is long gone. The Giants lead at 3-2. Finally, J.P. Crawford hits his first home run of the entire season. He had, I think, 5 in the postseason last year. 5 home runs in, 9 games? Hasn't gotten any in the regular season until now, and he makes the most of it with an absolute bomb. 450 feet. Let's look at this beautiful swing one more time. A high arcing ball. Again, no doubt about it, as soon as it hit the bat. Bottom half of the frame, and Yeldy Los Santos out of the bullpen. He was terrific last year, and so far he's picked up right where he left off as he faces off against Termarr Johnson, and he will go down looking. A really nice pitch. Circle change will scrape over the bottom part of the strike zone. Alex Kirilloff now behind 1-2. And this one is ripped over to second, past the diving glove of Ian Happ. And the Pirates get a one-out single. We'll see if they can look to potentially tie this game. Whenever we have scored, they scored. In the second inning, we got a run. They got one back. In the fifth inning, we got a run. They got one back. But they're not going to answer the call here as Henry Davis strikes out. And De Los Santos gets out of the frame. It remains 3-2, and we move into the seventh. Tommy Rogers swings at a pitch he certainly should not have. The plate discipline for Rogers, it's still a work in progress. He's improving very slowly, but I guess he's improving. Good play there at first by Endy Rodriguez to make the play to get out Happ. We go bottom 7. Normally Jojo Romero is used in the 8th, but we're going to have him a little bit early, specifically because of the matchup here with Zach Veen. And the decision proves to pay off as he goes down on the outside cutter, as he kind of had to fish for that one and could not reel it in. Endy Rodriguez goes down on the sinker. That pitch low, well below the zone. Good pitch there by Romero. Now Darell Hernaiz drove in a run back in the 5th as he flies this one into left. Rogers is under it. He will make the play. And so it remains 3-2. We'll see if the Giants can hold on to their lead as they look to get another series win under their belt here in early April. We've only lost one series up to this point, and we're certainly looking to keep that here. As Stone Garrett checks his swing, umpire said he went around. Pitch might have been the strike zone to begin with anyway, as that'll bring up Blake Sabol with 2 away. He's ahead 2-1. Gets a hanging pitch he likes and sends it into the opposite field for a base hit. He swung a little bit late there. He really wanted to time it up well, but hey, a base hit's a base hit. We can't really complain. As Crawford hits it high and deep, looking for home run number 2. He won't get it. Nice grab by Nelson Velasquez. That would not have gone over the fence, obviously, but it would have gone probably for a double. Sabol would have scored, so that saves at least 1 run. As John Schreiber is out of the pen. Hasn't been used much this year. I don't really know why. He's one of our more reliable relievers, but he's only thrown 2 innings. 2 scoreless for him to be exact, as Christian Pache goes down on the fastball. Jared Triolo with a grounder over to second. Happ with a diving grab. Throw to first is in time. Good play there by Ian Happ. And again, I've got to say the defense has been terrific throughout the course of this game. This is what I've envisioned building this team, as Murakami's going to charge after it from Johnson. Throw to first is not in time. It's an infield single for Termarr Johnson. Wasn't bad defense, but Johnson put that ball in the perfect place, and he is able to make a good hustle. And he makes it safely to second with a stolen base now, putting himself in scoring position for Kirilloff. 2-1. Lines it into center. Taveras after it. He will make the play. And so John Schreiber and company gets out of the inning as it remains 3-2 We'll see if we can hold on for the win here in the ninth. Despite trailing, the Pirates, I guess they really want to win this game because they're going to the closer, David Bednar. 5 of 6 in save opportunities. His first non-save op of the year. Luis Toribio in off the bench, draws a walk. And so he's aboard to start the inning. We'll see if the Giants can drive him in, give their closer Camilo Doval some insurance. Hackman lines it into center, and this one is caught. Another over-the-shoulder grab by Nelson Velasquez. Put him at receiver. I heard the Kansas City Chiefs could use some more. Rogers on the ground, scooped at second, could be 2. And it is! The Pirates double up the speedster, and it remains 3-2 going into the bottom of the ninth inning. Camilo Doval looks to close the door. He's been a little inconsistent this year, but he hasn't blown a save yet, which is the biggest thing. 6 of 6 in save ops this year. Now, he doesn't have a lot of margin for error. It's only a 1-run deficit. With 1 away, Davis goes down on the cutter. Great pitch by Camilo Doval for out number 2. We'll see if Zach Veen can come up big. The final hope. Grounds it to first. Toribio scoops it up, tags the base, and that will do it. The Giants win this game 3-2 here at the beautiful PNC Park. We win game 2 of the series. We officially win the series, and we'll go for the sweep in game 3. Really, really strong showing. I forgot to show the box score, but some highlights. Sandy Alcantara, 5 innings of 2-run ball, leading the way offensively. Jun-Hoo Lee, 2 for 4, drove in a run. Munetaka Murakami drove in a pair. Stone Garrett had 2 hits. Along with Lee and Murakami, we also had Happ, Garrett, and Crawford drive in some runs. So that'll bring us to this series against the Orioles. We ended up sweeping the series against the Pirates, and then we won the first 2 games of this series. So we're going for another sweep. Currently 6 wins in a row. We've got some work to do, but this is a good start for the rally. Munetaka Murakami with a 2-run single here in the 7th. That'll cut the lead in half, as it is now a 4-2 ball game. Murakami comes up big again. The hit streak is at 11 games. The lead now within 1 with an RBI double by Brendan Donovan. We've got 2 runners on, 2 outs. Ian Happ is up against the former Giant Gabe Spire, who we had on our roster last year after the deadline. That was a good pitch. Fastball down the middle, but Happ swings a little bit late. But back to Spire. I thought he played pretty well in the 2 months we had him, but he did not make the postseason roster just because we had so many arms. Grounded to third, play will be made by Kobe Mayo, and the Giants leave 2 aboard. We do add another run in this inning with the RBI double by Donovan, but it feels like we could have gotten a little bit more, left some meat on the bone, and now it's time to win it here in the 9th. Felix Bautista, the Mountain, in for the save as Johnny Hackman replaces Murakami as a pinch runner. Both Hackman and Murakami had the exact same speed rating, but I'm bringing in Hackman because he can steal. Goes for second. He is out of there! That really was not a very well-timed throw behind the plate by JT Realmuto, but he still got him. I guess Johnny Hackman really got out the base that slow. Game comes down to Stone Garrett. Giants down to their final strike, and he swings and misses on the 102-mile-an-hour fastball, and the Orioles win it by the final score of 4-3. We do not get the sweep, and our long win streak is over at 7. Not a great day from the offense minus the end of this game. And then Logan Webb respectfully absolutely stunk. 4 1/3 innings allowing 10 hits. And then the bullpen in the final 4 2/3 innings allowed no hits. Logan Webb has not been doing well. But you know who is pitching at a high level? Carson Whisenhunt had another really good start in this game against the Orioles. 7 innings. He actually did lead up a run. But in 4 starts, he's 4-0. He's led up 2 earned runs. He's in 3rd for the Cy Young, while Munetaka Murakami is in 1st for the MVP. And that brings us to our first series of the year against the Los Angeles Dodgers. We know they're going to be our main competition within the division. And here in Game 1, we find ourselves down 5-3. Murakami's hit streak, again, is on the line against Phil Maton, as this one is hit high and deep into center field. Back at the track, at the wall, it is gone! And the lead is within 1. Munetaka Murakami, the current MVP frontrunner, strikes again. His 8th home run of the year. He has been unbelievable through the first month of the year. The power has been terrific. The contact has been otherworldly. And then we would take the lead later in the inning. Stone Garrett with a 2-run blast. Death, taxes, and clutch Stone Garrett homers. It's a bunt attempt here for Calf, and the throw is offline by Garrett, who had the home run to give us the lead. So we could have gotten 2 outs there here in the bottom of the 9th, but now there's 2 on as Calf celebrates. Considering he completely botched the bunt attempt, I don't know why he's dancing. But now there's 2 on. Winning run is aboard. Dalton rushing on the ground. Can they get 2 now? 6-4-3 double play. The other runner, though, makes his way over to third. We'll see if Kyle Tucker with 2 outs can drive him in to tie the game. Grounder to second. Peguero makes the play. Throw to first is in time. It's over. The Giants win Game 1 here in L.A. against the Dodgers 6-5 with an impressive comeback. We were down 5-0 after the first 3 innings, but we got 3 runs in the 7th with a homer by Liover Peguero. Murakami and Garrett go deep in the 8th. And this game was much like that last game against the Orioles. Sandy Alcantara was not great, and then the bullpen was unbelievably good. Into the second game now against the Dodgers, another close one. Tied at 2, into the 9th. We've got 2 on, 1 away for Brendan Donovan. This one will be ripped into the gap for a base hit. Run scores, it's 3-2, with now runners on the corners. Big piece of hitting for Brendan Donovan, who's playing a little bit better after his slow start. Now it's Stone Garrett, had the big home run in Game 1. Sends it into the gap. Could this be the dagger? It's 4-2. Donovan, rounding third, looks to score. It's 5-2. Stone Garrett comes up big again. With all the guys we have entering free agency within the next year or two, there's a reason why this past offseason we specifically wanted to extend him. Stone Garrett makes plays when we need him the most. Murakami draws a walk. Ian Happ now looking to draw a walk as well. He's ahead 3-1 as it's a high fly ball into center field. Trout chases after it at the track. It is gone! 3-run blast for Ian Happ, and if this game was not already over, the Giants have slammed the door, taken the keys of the car, and have bolted out of the driveway. An 8-2 victory for San Francisco. We scored 6 runs in the top of the 9th inning with an RBI single by Donovan, 2-run double by Garrett, and a game-clinching 3-run blast by Ian Happ to shut the door. And here in this 4-game set in Los Angeles, we have won the first 2. That's a big deal. Ian Happ was our only homer, but we had a number of guys obviously drive in runs with a pretty good start by Mason Miller. And so we're gaining a lead in the division since we're winning these games, and that'll bring us into this third matchup. The reason why I picked this game, I think it's pretty obvious. I want to pitch with Carson Whisenhunt. Through his first 4 starts this year, Whisenhunt has led up just 2 earned runs. He has been a man on a mission. He's been one of the best pitchers in baseball. He's been clearly the best pitcher on our team, maybe the best player on our team other than Munetaka Murakami through roughly the first month of the year. But if you remember last season, Whisenhunt also started really hot and then cooled off. And now he's got to face off against a loaded Dodgers lineup. Will be without Tommy Rogers. Sprained his ankle in pregame activities. He'll probably miss a couple of days. Not a super big deal, but unfortunately that we won't have him available today. Lance McCullers on the bump for LA. His season numbers cannot be any more opposite of Carson Whisenhunt. He has not been good this year. He is 2-1, but yeah, this is why pitching win-loss records don't matter. As Jun-Hoo Lee strikes out to open up the game, everybody moves up in the order with Tommy Rogers not playing. Lee goes to 1, Ian Happ goes to 2, and Happ hits this one well into left center. It is caught. Nice grab in the outfield. I thought that was going to be an extra base hit. Here's a look at Carson Whisenhunt. 28 innings. That's 7 innings per game. In 4 starts, he is a perfect 4-0. .64 ERA, .93 whip. I felt like his ERA early in the season last year wasn't sustainable because his whip was kind of high. This year, that's not the case. He's not allowing base runners. A big reason why he's not letting up runners, period. But he does let up a single here with 1 away to James Outman. Now it's showtime. Shohei Ohtani. Whoa, what was he swinging at? That one's not even close to a strike. Obviously, we know this lineup is stacked with Ohtani, Trout, Kyle Tucker, who's not even playing today as Trout singles in to left. Mookie Betts is here. Tristan Casas was acquired at the deadline. They signed Adley Rutschman for $400 million this offseason. As Betts, I think, got hit, but he went around. That's called strike 2. He's behind in the count now After looking at ball 2, he hits it up the middle for a single. That'll score a run, and the Dodgers lead 1-0. So a pretty good start for the LA offense off of the talented young lefty who has been terrific so far this year, but he looks a little shaky today. Rutschman to second. Crawford, what a play! Saves a run from being scored. The Dodgers get one, though. They look good off of the red-hot Carson Whisenhunt, but that could have gone worse if not for the nice play at second base by J.P. Crawford. Into the second. 3-1 here for Blake Sabol, and this one is hit high and pretty deep into left field. Back at the track, at the wall, it is gone! Scrapes over the fence, but it's a home run nonetheless. And Blake Sabol ties it at 1. His 5th home run of the year. Not as hot of a power start as he was off to last year, but he's still having a pretty good season through the first month of the campaign. Stone Garrett draws a walk, so he will take his base. Another runner aboard here for the Giants. They're looking to add a second one here with J.P. Crawford, who's also ahead 3-1, and he also draws a walk. Lance McCullers so far in this second inning does not look good. He lets up the homer. He's let up a pair of walks. His control seems to be all over the place, as now Hackman's ahead 3-1. McCullers is in danger of walking the bases loaded, and that's exactly what happens. Back-to-back-to-back walks. He cannot find the strike zone. There's still nobody out. There's no way we blow this bases loaded opportunity, right? So Taveras is going to be a little bit more conservative. That was a close one, but he was looking to draw a walk because, well, McCullers isn't throwing strikes. But now with a full count, he's got to be a little more aggressive. Pops it into the outfield. Trout makes the play, and that's not enough room for us to get the sacrifice. So now this puts us in a little bit of danger. If Donovan puts the ball on the ground, the inning is over, and this opportunity is blown. Luckily, he has other plans. It's a single into center. 1 run scores. Second will join. It is a 3-1 lead with a 2-run single by Brendan Donovan. The offense firing on all cylinders here in the second inning. And with only 1 out and 2 runners aboard, they might not be done. Jung-Hoo Lee is up, puts it on the ground. Okay, maybe they will be done. Looking to turn the double play. Throw to first is in time. Feels like we wasted an opportunity there with 2 runners aboard. But it's hard to complain when you score 3 runs in that inning with the homer by Sabol and the 2-run base hit for Donovan. Bottom 2, Dalton Rushing strikes out. A much better inning for Carson Whisenhunt as he retires to the side. He looked a lot more composed and calm than he did in that first inning as Murakami hits this one high and deep into center. Trout at the track, at the wall. It is caught! 9-1-1! I'd like to report a robbery. Mike Trout scales up the wall to make the play. I would say Unk's still got it, but he's not even Unk. He's Grandpa at this point. Yet he still has the athleticism to make the play. That ball would have gone over the fence, not by much, but it would have. So Mike Trout saves a run from being scored. What a play as Mookie Betts grabs the liner. That'll end the top of the third. Some fireworks defensively by the Dodgers as Castro goes for the bunt. It's a pretty good one. Going to be a close play at first. He's out. Good job there by Blake Sabol to gun him down. Ohtani now 1-2. Swings at another pitch in the dirt. Gets way by Sabol, and he's safe at first off of the wild pitch. It looks like Shohei Ohtani is swinging with drunk goggles so far today. 2 really bad strikeouts. He got lucky that time that he was able to get on base, but it won't really matter. Whisenhunt's going to get 4 outs this inning as Trout grounds it over to second base. So over the last 2 innings, the only base runner for the Dodgers is Ohtani off the wild pitch. Great job by Whisenhunt to recover after his rough start. And at the top of the 4th, Johnny Hackman, one of the 3 batters to get that big stretch of walks back in the second. He strikes out. Good inning for McCullers. And we go bottom 4. Mookie Betts gets things started here for the Dodgers. Ahead 3-1, and he draws a walk. I thought that pitch was a strike in real time, but Whisenhunt will not get the call. Adley Rutschman sprays this one into the opposite field gap. That's going to go for extra bases. Mookie Betts will look to score. Rounding third, heads home. He is safe, and it's 3-2. What a season so far for Adley Rutschman. He had a career year last year in Baltimore, gets a hefty contract from the Dodgers, and he has been worth every penny so far. Paez down the line. Garrett scoops it up, tags the base. I'm really curious to see how Whisenhunt gets through the rest of this inning. I think it'll be very telling about where his maturity level is as a pitcher as he gets calves to check his swing on the inside fastball. The pitch was in the zone anyway. Dalton rushing now. 2-1, 2 away, pops it into the outfield. Hackman chases after it. He makes the play. So on one hand, wasn't a great inning for Hackman. He lets up a pair of hits. He lets up the run and the double by Adley Rutschman. But I actually feel really impressed because I feel like if this was the Carson Whisenhunt of the past, after those first two at-bats, he kind of would have fallen apart. But he was able to rebound, get through the rest of the inning, and help us hold on to the lead. We're really seeing the development of Whisenhunt in real time, and it has been fun to watch. Brendan Donovan with a single as Mookie Betts is unable to make the play. Would have been a really hard play, so they're not going to rule that an error, rightfully so. John Hooley now double play his last time up. Gets that one by Mookie Betts. I feel like he should have made that grab, as that one's going to roll to the fence for extra bases. Donovan will look to score. Lee's going to head to third. He is out at third, but Donovan does score. It'll be scored as an RBI double for Lee. It's 4-2. James Outman, though, is fired up. He was able to throw out the runner. Should have just kept Lee at second. We would have had a guy in scoring position, and we would have driven him in because Ian Happ ropes a single into center field. That was a really hard pitch to hit, and he crushed it. 117 off the bat. Good Lord, that was hit hard. So Happ is now at first base. 2-1, 2 away for Murakami. Had his home run robbed his last time up. Chopper to third. Dodgers make the play. But San Francisco does add another run. It's a 4-2 lead. Let's see what Carson Whisenhunt does in this inning. He worked a lot of long counts in the fourth. He was able to win some tough battles. But because of that, the pitch count is getting higher. He's thrown into the seventh inning in all 4 games he's pitched this year. But I don't think that's going to be the case today, especially with James Outman hitting this ball well into center field. This one bounces off the wall. Rounding second, heads to third. Risky play. He is safe. I think we could have got him if we had a better throw from the cutoff man, Brendan Donovan. That'll bring up Shohei Ohtani. He has had a rough day in the office so far. As he puts it on the ground, that will score the runner. And he is going to be out at first, but a successful at bat as it's now 4-3. Whisenhunt has let up more runs today than he did in his first 4 starts all year. That'll bring up Mike Trout. Robbed a homer earlier. This one is robbable. Taveras will not make the play. And we are tied at 4. So Mike Trout robs a homer and then he hits a homer. His 7th of the year. 4 apiece here in L.A. So Carson Whisenhunt did a really good job in the 4th inning of battling back after allowing the couple of base runners. Doesn't really happen in the 5th. He lets up 2 runs in his first 4 games, but he lets up 4 today. Now, yes, he is facing off against what legitimately could be the National League starting lineup for the All-Star game, but still, he wasn't great considering how he's done this year, and it'll be John Schreiber. Still has not allowed a run so far, replacing him out of the pen, looking to keep this game tied at 4. We'll see what he can do against Mookie Betts. He's reached base twice today. And that streak will continue. He draws a walk on the very much outside slider. So runner is aboard here for Adley Rutschman. Doubled and drove in a run his last time up. He lines it into left. It's caught by Johnny Hackman. Good inning, though, for the Dodgers. They get 2, headlined by the solo homer by Mike Trout. And that will bring us into the 6th. The Dodgers are going to go to McCullers still at 104 pitches. As J.P. Crawford draws his second walk of the game, and this is where they're going to go to the pen. I don't know why they kept him in so long, considering the season he's had has not been a good one. He'll be replaced by Nick Frasso. He's the one who choked the last game and was the architect, if you will, of our 6-run 9th inning. So I can't say I'm really mad at this decision either. I don't get what the Dodgers are doing with their pitchers. Full count, runner goes. Hackman into the gap. That ball's going to drop. And there's going to be plenty of room for Crawford to score. Rounding third, heads home. He is safe. There's no throw at the plate. An RBI double for Johnny Hackman. And the Giants lead this one 5-4. Can they add to the lead? Leody Taveras. Ho, ho, ho. He liked that pitch. A changeup right down the heart of the plate. Coming in at 83 miles an hour. And he blatantly misses it. He does not miss that one. It's a grounder to first. Dodgers will make the play. But the Giants will add to their lead with the RBI double for Hackman. Andy Pages opens up the bottom half of the frame with a strikeout on the circle change. Good pitch by Schreiber, who remains in the game. 2 away for Dalton Rushing. Pops this one to Taveras. I'm kind of curious with what they're going to do with Rushing long term. I assumed he'd be the long-term catcher with JT Realmuto gone, but with them signing Adley Rutschman, they have Rushing at first for now, but realistically, you'd think maybe he's a trade asset that's dangled for a better bat, or maybe Adley Rutschman moves to first long-term as he gets older. Into the 7th, 1-2-3 inning for Nick Frasso as Ian Happ flies out to center. It is caught by Trout. Bottom 7 out of the bullpen will be Joel Payam, signed in the offseason from Milwaukee. So far, he's been pretty solid through 6 innings. He's let up 2 runs. Nothing spectacular, but certainly has not been a bad addition up to this point. He'll face off against James Outman, 3-2. He's had a nice day. Threw out a runner, pair of hits. Now it's a third. Single into center field, and the Dodgers get the tying run aboard here with 1 away for the heart of the order. Shohei Ohtani has not had a great game. He did drive in a run, but it's been a rough one until now. Singles into center. Outman makes his way to third. And now there's runners on the corners with Trout and Betts due up. Trout homered his last time up. Here he's going to fly out to center. That should be enough run for the runner at third to score. Taveras has a great arm, but even though this throw seems impossible, holy moly, what a dime from Leody Taveras. The run does score. We're tied at 5. But goddamn, he has a cannon. As Mookie Betts goes down looking, Payam gets through the inning, lets up a run though, and we are tied at 5. It's anyone's ball game here at Dodger Stadium. Some eyes rolling in the dugout. What's that about? Do they not like that Mookie Betts looked at that pitch? Huh? Are there tensions brewing in the Dodger clubhouse as Murakami hits this one high and deep and to left? Had a home run robbed earlier. This time it's not. Goes over the fence, and it's a 6-5 ball game. Munetaka Murakami with a go-ahead home run in back-to-back games. That's his 9th of the year. And it is a 6-5 lead for San Francisco as baseball's MVP thus far continues to live up to the name. Betts bobbles it at short. Throw to first is not in time. Now that is an E6. Mookie's got to make that play. Had it in his glove before losing control. Johnny Hackman, full count, 2 away, puts it on the ground. Betts will make the play. Good inning, though, with the homer by Munetaka Murakami. As we go bottom 8, time for the back end of the bullpen to slam the door. Jojo Romero has been unbelievable this season in 9 2/3 innings. He has an ERA of 0, strikeout rate over 30. His average allowed against righties is below 100, and his average allowed against lefties is 0, and that will remain. He retires the side. Wes Kath goes down looking. So it remains 6-5 going into the 9th. Let's maybe add some insurance here for our closer, Camilo Doval, as Justin Lawrence, the former Rocky, comes in for the Dodgers. They want to keep the lead at 1, give their offense a chance to do some damage with the middle of the order possibly coming up, depending on if they get some base runners. Leody Taveras draws a walk. He is aboard. What I like about Taveras, along with his defense, is also the fact that he can run. So our fastest healthy player is aboard with Rogers banged up. He'll go to second, and he is out of there. Good throw behind the dish. Adley Rutschman guns him down. Brendan Donovan now 3-1, looking for his 3rd hit of the game as it's bobbled at third. Some sloppy defense for the Dodgers. This time they will make the throw, though. 2 gone now for Lee. This one is flown into left. Outman traces after it. He will not make the play. It bounces over the fence for a ground rule double. So Lee is in scoring position for Ian Happ, who looks to drive him in. Count is full, 3-2. Popped into center. Should be caught, and it will. No runs scored here in the top of the 9th for San Francisco. And now it's time for Camilo Doval to slam the door, win this game, win us this series, and put us in position to potentially get a 4-game sweep. Now, Camilo Doval's allowed his fair share of runs so far this year. He now has a blown save to his name as well. 9-1-2 hitters due up as Rushing goes down on the sinker. The pressure point, of course, is the 3rd spot in the lineup. That's where Ohtani is. So there's all the pressure in the world for him to retire this side. Castro on the ground. Donovan makes the play. Backhanded throw, not in time. An infield single for Willie Castro. There you go. The tying run is on. And bearing a double play, we will see Shohei Ohtani as James Outman goes, whoa, what was that? Did he just signal like a threatening gesture to the umpire? Are you not going to do anything, Blue? Stand on business! As Castro goes for second, he's safe. That's a ballsy decision because if he's out, you don't give Ohtani the chance to hit. But now all he needs is a single to bring the run in, theoretically. 2-1. Looks at the cutter for strike 2. Dodgers down to their final strike of the game. Ohtani has not been good with runners on scoring position. 135, the anti-Ohtani in that department, as that one goes for ball 3. Duvall does not want to give him anything good. All it takes is one hit, and this game is tied, especially with Trout on deck as well. The 3-2 popped into foul territory. Lee chases after it. Will he make the play? Yes, he will. Giants win it 6-5, and we will go for the 4-game sweep in the 4th matchup of this series. Talk about making a statement early in the year against our biggest rivals on the road, who had a huge offseason acquiring Adley Rutschman, amongst others. We go into their place, and we walk into their trap, and we took over their trap. Even if we lose the last game, a 3-1 series here is very successful, but getting the sweep would be a loud and clear statement if I've ever seen one. 6 runs, 8 hits. Donovan and Lee had multiple hits. Donovan drove in a pair of runs. He had a good game. Murakami and Sable each went deep. Carson Whisenhunt was not great. There's going to be some bumps in the road with young pitchers. He's been flawless this year, so it's understandable. Bullpen had another really good game, though. The bullpen has won us multiple games this year. They've been absolutely terrific. So we'll see if we can get the sweep with Kyle Harrison, as Tommy Rogers, of course, sprained his ankle. He'll probably be out for a couple of days, but it won't put him on the injured list, which, of course, is the big thing. So we're continuing to climb in the division, now 4 games ahead of the Dodgers. They've been passed up by San Diego. And that brings us into this 4th game. Harrison against Shohei Ohtani, a battle of a couple of heavyweights. Oh, that's not good. Kyle Harrison, fractured arm, out for 2 to 3 months. We did win this game, 6-5. We do complete the 4-game sweep, which is really impressive. But shout out Johnny Hackman, by the way. 3 extra base hits, drove in a pair. He was really good. But it feels like a loss because Kyle Harrison is going to miss the next couple of months. And I don't think it's a hot take to say that Kyle Harrison might honestly be our best pitcher. Given the body of work that he has had over the last couple of years in Season 3, I trust him more than Logan Webb, and I trust him more than Sandy Alcantara. But availability is becoming a concern for him. In Season 2, he missed 11 games. Last year, he missed 11 starts. And this year, he's going to miss a similar number. That's like a full season worth of starts that he will have missed. And now we've got to figure out who's going to replace him in the rotation. There are some good options. Fernando Molina, we've been training him to be a starter. Opened the year slow, but he's playing well. We could go with Cole Irvin, the veteran who's had a good season in AAA. Or our number 1 prospect, Scott Rios. He's balling so far. Didn't do well, though, in spring training. Do we think he's ready? Interesting decision to make. I'm curious to see what you guys have to say down below in the comments. Hope everyone enjoyed the episode. Make sure to leave a like and subscribe to the channel if you are new. Peace out.